Apex Legends Season 24 Takeover is releasing February 11th and is completely changing the meta and playstyle. Every single weapon is getting buffed, and helmets are gone from the game, which means all headshot damage is increased since it's a set value and has no damage mitigation whatsoever from armor. Assault Legends are also getting a pretty big upgrade this season, so you can expect Takeover to have incredibly fast time to kill. Here's everything that's changing this season in Apex Legends. But keep watching to the end of the video to watch my interview with the developers who explain why exactly they chose to implement these changes now. Like I said before, every weapon in Apex Legends is getting a buff. Yeah, you heard that right. Technically speaking, every weapon is going to be viable now, even the car SMG, which can now equip laser sights. That thing rips. While you can use any weapon you want, shotguns, sniper rifles, and marksman rifles are definitely the heaviest hitters in terms of one-shot damage. While the shield meta from the previous season seems to be less viable, shotguns still stand strong since the Mastiff and EVA 8 have high burst damage. The Mastiff still deals 80 to 90 damage depending on if you ADS or hipfire, so if your enemy is wearing blue armor, you can essentially 3-shot them. The Peacekeeper has now been put into the care package drop, and it's really strong. Essentially, the choke pattern is a lot tighter now, and the time to ADS and see everything tighten up is a lot shorter now as well. You can see here that I tried this from a distance of at least like 40 to 50, and the PK is actually a sniper now, and it's a little bit worrisome, but don't worry, it is a drop weapon, so you're not going to be able to find it on the floor. This also means that the Kraber is now back to being a one-shot kill weapon. Now, if you are wearing red armor, you won't actually get downed right away, and it'll leave you with 25 health, but that's still not a lot to leave you with. With weapons dealing more damage, you'll be even more inclined to level up in matches, since evil armor only goes up to purple, which is level 3 now. Red shields are now a thing of the past unless you're able to find a red helmet in a care package or mythic bin. When you pick up a red helmet, your armor will be upgraded to level 4 with 25 extra shield points, which gives you a total armor of 125. Even though you'll be picking up a helmet, you won't actually be getting headshot damage reduction since it only evolves your body armor and does not add an actual helmet. The same goes for gold helmets, which will give you gold armor but no additional headshot damage reduction. The gold helmet will now also have the double healing perk that support legends will no longer have in Season 24. While I was happy to get a support meta in Season 23 so I could return back to my original main, Lifeline, the constant revive meta will be less useful in Season 24. Support legends will no longer have their double healing passive, majorly slowing their ability to recover. They will also not be able to heal and move at normal speeds, further nerfing the supports. Every player will drop into a match with 4 syringes and 4 shield cells. The stack of small heals are back up to stack of 6, which gives you a running start to each new match since cells and syringes take less time to use. Additionally, Assault Legends have an even more increased carry capacity of stacks of ammo from their passive extra firepower. This season is really about Assault Legends and their aggressive playstyles. All Assault Legends now have a passive called Battle Surge, which gives them and their teammates a temporary speed boost, fast reload, and player highlights when they crack an enemy's shield. The speed boost is comparable to Octane's stim speed, but it actually doesn't stack with Bangalore's double time. Assault Legends also get the perk Combat Reserve, where their inventory has 2 extra slots dedicated exclusively for grenades, and a stowed reload, where any weapon stowed will automatically be reloaded after 2 seconds. Think gold magazine reloads. So yeah, Assault Legends will be the top of the meta in Season 24. Our beloved Titanfall baddie is finally getting the upgrade she deserves. Ashe has had a slight rework with her kit, making her much more viable in the assault category. Ashe will no longer be able to scan death boxes with her data knife, but instead has a new passive that will allow her to be a little bit more aggressive. Predator's Pursuit, her passive, allows Ashe to dash in any direction she wants, and it's initiated after a jump. Ashe can get up to 2 dash charges after fully leveling to tier 3. Her tactical arc snare will now tether enemies from its own location rather to where the enemy player is. The snare has an increased duration and range and can be upgraded to grab more than one enemy at a time. Ashe's ultimate Phase Breach will now activate faster, travel further, and move players through it faster. Ashe can also upgrade her abilities to give her 2 charges of Phase Breach. Ballistic also gets an adjustment for Season 24, though not as extensive as Ashe. Ballistic can now carry care package weapons in his sling slot, so technically you could run all 3 weapons as drop weapons. In Ballistic's leveling tree, he can upgrade so his tactical Whistler can have 2 charges. Additionally, at tier 3, Whistler can be upgraded to also silence enemies upon hit. No other legend currently has the ability to silence others, so Ballistic could turn the tides of a lot of teamfights if used correctly. Whistler was also updated to improve its range and lock-on accuracy, so Ballistic's tactical is much more viable mid-battle. While there are no big map changes, arsenals have been dropped all over each map to supply players with any weapon of their choice on drop. Each POI in each match will have an arsenal station, which will have a set ammo type of weapons. The type of arsenal in each POI will change every match, but the location will stay the same. When traveling in the dropship, you'll be able to see where each arsenal is and what type of ammo they carried. When you select a weapon from an arsenal, you'll be given very limited ammo, but you'll be able to upgrade that weapon once per station. The upgrades implement smart loot onto your weapon and will give you a meaningful upgrade with attachments you might be missing. For example, leveling a Mastiff with no attachments on it will give you a one-time sight and a blue stock. When you come across another arsenal of the same ammo type, you can upgrade your weapon again. Season 24 brings a lot of meta changes to Apex, but also incorporates new creator events for players to participate in. Different Apex creators will be featured in various events throughout the season by giving players unique community challenges to complete. By participating, you can earn individual and community-earned rewards. While there aren't any ranked changes to Apex, the ability to play ranked has been locked behind a series of challenges players need to complete in order to ready themselves for ranked play. New players who have not unlocked ranked or played any matches of it will have to complete all of the road to ranked challenges in order to unlock that game mode. This should help players understand how ranked will work and prepare them for competitive play, while also keeping Smurf accounts from immediately queuing into ranked after hitting a certain account level. And now it's time for the exclusive interview I got with Josh Mohan, Associate Battle Royale Designer, Eric Canavis, Lead Battle Royale Designer, and John Larson, Game Designer of Apex Legends.
Hello, it's good to talk to you again.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
In Japan, of all places, too, which is great. So arsenals.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
Oh, baby. Okay, so arsenals are a new weapon system. So we're putting them all across the map. Every POI is getting like 2 or 3 arsenals, like depending on the size of the POIs. There's a couple more scattered across. But really, the whole goal of an arsenal is to be like just a deterministic way for you to get the guns that you want to play with. Get the guns that you're most comfortable with, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what Apex is all about. Playing with the weapons that you want to play with so that you're feeling good about your gameplay and you can focus on the encounters and the kills and the angles that you need to run and not worrying about like, oh, I didn't find a weapon that I'm comfortable with. So we really wanted to take the guesswork out of, getting your loadout that you want to take into combat.
Okay, so that kind of reminds me of how Warzone has like their little custom loadouts thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, but more in an Apex fashion.
Yeah, we still wanted a little bit of RNG in it. So, these locations where the arsenals are, they're fixed. You can find the same arsenal is going to be there in every map, but the ammo type that the arsenal kind of offers is different. We randomize what ammo is going to be in which arsenal. So the arsenal itself just picks one ammo type, offers all the weapons from that ammo type, and then on either side of the station, you can take a weapon of the corresponding ammo type and upgrade it. So you do a little bit of a interact on it, and it will give it like an upgraded attachment, or if you don't have an optic, it'll give you a 1x optic so that you can kind of accelerate your path to the fight.
You said every weapon is getting a buff?
Every single weapon is getting buffed, yeah. Well, we want the TTK to come down a little bit. That's why we're making things a little bit more lethal, for sure. So, over time, Apex has evolved in like a ton of different ways. We've got crazy character abilities, like the skill of the community to find all of these interesting movement techs that just level everybody's skills up, and tracking that can be really difficult. There's so many ways that players have figured out how to survive and play and really express their skill in the game, while on the other side, the weapons have sort of just kind of stayed the same, very, very stable throughout the seasons. And that's kind of resulted in the time to kill getting quite long. And with a long time to kill in Apex, as many of our players probably know, it's very easy to get third-partied, fourth-partied, and fifth-partied in the center of the map. And the whole goal here is to sort of punctuate our combats a little bit more. We want our combats to be ending a little bit faster so that it's a little less reactionary on when that third party shows up. And it's more like, there's a little bit more time between that. You have more of an opportunity to finish and resolve what's going on in front of you, to get ready for if the third party is coming. Take a breath, reset, figure out how you're going to approach the next fight, because strategy and tactics are really important. But if you just constantly being shot by teams on the outskirts that are just waiting for your fight to finish, there's no strategy in that. That's just chaos and, reactionary. Another change that we've done is we've removed base helmets. Like, there's no white, blue, purple helmet. You can't loot into them anymore, and as such, we've removed the headshot reduction, the headshot damage reduction that a helmet would normally give you. So, with that in mind, we've done a pass on every weapon's headshot multiplier to make it fit how we think the headshot kind of damage like an assault rifle should do or an SMG should do. We're removing them from shotguns, or in the case of the Kraber and all of our other snipers, increasing their headshot multipliers to really lean into that precision weapon fantasy. So the Kraber will yet again be one-shot headshotting for most everything. The only caveat there is the new red helmets that we've got. The new red helmets, they're gonna set your armor to 125. It's the only way to get to 125 armor now because we've taken the max armor down to 100, so you can only level through Evo up to purple. But you can find these new rare helmets in the game from the care package, from the mythic bin. So there's not many of them on the floor, but if you do get those, they will protect you from a Kraber with one-shot headshot.
Is there going to be any like passives that you with healers or anything with like faster reses? Because I know that was something that was on the gold helmet and such before.
Yeah, so the gold helmet's sticking around, but it is also getting some changes.
Okay.
So that will also show up, like after bin reset in gold bins, the gold helmet will appear. So that one's gonna set you to 100 armor, whereas the red one would set you to 125, but the gold helmet's been reworked to provide the small meds perk. So now when you have the gold helmet, you'll get the double cells and double syringes because we're pulling that off of supports this season.
Oh.
So that becomes gameplay that you can now put on specific team members when finding those gold helmets, which I think is going to create some interesting decision making for the comps.
Wait, hold on. Did they buff Ash?
Finally! Ash has been cooking for a while. She has a compelling, like, tactical and ultimate, I think. The passive around using the data knife to sort of hack into death boxes and see where the killers are felt a little disjointed from the rest of the kit in terms of hunting down your prey, converting the kill, and really selling her sort of power or her fantasy as a sort of skirmishing assault character. And so she's actually getting an additional passive called, we call it internally Ash Dash.
Yeah.
It's the Ash.
Predator's Pursuit.
Predator's Pursuit.
Ash Dash is better.
And so that'll be this omnidirectional dash in any direction. Idea there is you kind of dash out, change up your angle, get that tether locked in. We're also just improving the reliability and the snappiness of the tether and the ultimate. The engineers have put in work to make that targeting system for using Ashful much more reliable. So she feels just super nimble in fights now, and then she has some pretty meaty upgrades that kind of allow players to index into different parts of that kit now. Ballistic, we're adding some spiciness. Seeing all these stuff around the amount of shields and walls and support meta stuff, and thinking about what we kind of lost with Revenant. We've seen some feedback online from the community around just people missing the silence ability. So Ballistic will actually have an upgrade that can have that be an output of the tactical. So you can, if you select that upgrade as Ballistic, you can silence the enemy. So not only will you overheat, but you'll kind of be at the mercy of Ballistic and him run you down, and you'll feel scared. We'll see. So those two legends are kind of the focus at the start of the season.
Apex has evolved tremendously over the years, and the weapons themselves have kind of stayed mostly the same. Obviously ups and downs, the ebb and flow of metas and stuff to try to make things stronger or weaker based off of how long they've been relevant or not relevant. But with all of the changes that the Legends team has done, upgrading, and red armor was introduced, and just generally the skill of movement in the game has just blown the cap off, and the weapons have all kind of just been chilling there, doing their thing, trying their hardest. And I think I went to Josh one day and I was just like, I think we should buff everything. I think we should buff everything, not just assault rifles, not just SMGs. Everything in the game I think needs to come up. I think a bit of it spurred from when we were playing Launch Royale. We went back to Launch Royale, and it was like everything was so visceral. time to kill was lower. You were dropping without a shield. Everything just had the potential to feel incredibly potent. Like, oh, this RE45 just annihilated this dude because he didn't have a shield on. And that sort of feeling was something, was like, how do we recapture that? How do we get back to a point where everything's viable? And we thought about it in a lot of different ways. It was just like, hey, buffs are fun, and getting kills is fun. So let's make everything a bit stronger. Let's have that, that tide of the weapons rise along with everything else. And the first implementation we did of it, we went too far. Like internally when we were playtesting it, I was like, push it really hard, like a lot more damage. And that playtest, that was one of those ones where you learn really quickly, oh, okay, that's too much. Let's pull back on that. And so I was trying to, took us a while to figure out what was the right sort of balance for that. What's the benchmark that we're going to kind of balance things around? And I think I'm really happy with the state of it. Something that we say internally a lot is when you go back and work is over and you go play the live game. When you're playing the live game and you're wishing you were playing the playtest, you're onto something. You're like, oh man, if this was the playtest, I would have shredded that dude. That's when you start feeling that way. It starts to give you more and more confidence that these changes are going to hit. And so I felt like that pretty early in the process with all of these weapon buffs. And here we are.
I think another thing just to add to that is like the why now question. I think the release of arsenals, I think is a good timing as well for this. Because I think for weapons, there's some weapons people have just sort of written off. They're like, oh, I don't think that's a strong weapon. Even if it's been buffed or nerfed throughout history, like there's just this feeling of like, oh, I'm not good with that weapon or I've been written off. And now releasing arsenals, giving everybody a predictable way to get a certain weapon if they want it. They know where to go find it. This huge shakeup in the balance of our weapons gives people a reason to also re-engage with those weapons that may be written off in the past, and pushes all weapons into a viability that sometimes some weapons didn't have before. So that's really what it's about. It's about leveling the playing field across all weapons. At the moment, we're giving you all of them on a silver platter. So I think those two updates go hand in hand really well.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are they expect every season to have new content, and some people don't view these changes as new content. So what would you say to those people who are like, why aren't we getting a new legend? Why not a new weapon? And obviously the weapons are changing now, so they all should feel different, but some people can see that as an actual update.
Yeah, I think you look at the history of Apex, and when we were releasing one legend a season in that first year, you were adding to a pool of under 10 legends, and now we're approaching 30. And I think you get to a place where each piece of content like that you add doesn't have the same impact it once had when it's such a crowded field. I think that's true for weapons, that's true for maps as well. And so we're still going to do those things, but we have to ask ourselves when we're approaching that, why are we doing this? Where does it fit alongside everything else? Is there a strong problem to solve it? Or are we just ticking a box because we feel we need to do a certain number of things each year? And if we're just ticking boxes, then we're not choosing to do the things that have the most impact for our players and are hitting the problems that they're feeling and making the game feel fresh for them. So that's why we've gotten a little creative with our updates, and we're changing up the kinds of things we do. We want to give you the same amount of gameplay, but it's going to come through in a different format. That's really what we're trying to do.
And one of the kind of when we're designing these weapons on the teams that we're working on, it's always really important that every weapon we make, every change we make to those weapons, it has a personality. It has a reason to exist in the roster. Not really interested in just releasing another assault rifle and another SMG. Like, everything that we release in Apex has a reason to be there. It's either asking a new gameplay question that has never been asked before, or it's solving a problem in the game that didn't have a solution before. And that, to us, is vital. That's the core pillar of why something gets added to the game, is that what new things are providing the players. So if it's just like another shade of gray, it's another gun, right? That's kind of boring. I would much rather buff everything and spend our time making meaningful adjustments to the very refined pool that we do have, and just churning out content like that's not fun.
How are you feeling about the changes so far? And are you going to be playing Ballistic or Ash? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.